Hello and welcome to week 4. I hope that you are starting to get into the rhythm of things because starting this week, you're going to notice a pattern in how the rest of the semester is going to go. So last week, you looked at oral language development, which is the foundation of literacy. But this week, we're going to start getting into the first age group, which is infants and toddlers. So for this week, what you're going to be doing is actually reviewing two chapters, chapters 4 and chapter 5. So the way that the book is set up for the next couple of sections with the age groups is the first chapter will talk about the particular age group, some signs of emergent literacy that you're going to notice in that particular age group. But then the second chapter is going to deal with how you as a teacher can actually help enhance the literacy from the signs that you're starting to see in those different age groups. So with infants and toddlers, one of the things that you're probably going to find most interesting is that these are not just little blobs that lay around and do nothing. There's actually so much that's going on in their little brains. And so it's up to us to make sure that not only are we recognizing the signs, but that we're actually the ones who are helping them with their emergent literacy. When I do ratings in infant and toddler classrooms, some of the things that we're looking for are books that deal with familiar routines, so maybe going to bed. And we're also looking to see that there's lots of different things like stuffed animals around for children to be able to play with that maybe can enhance a book that they're looking at, puppets, things like that. So for infants and toddlers, obviously, we're not going to have books in the classroom that are going to be chapter books. You're not even going to have books that are going to be hardback. You really want to make sure that you have the ones that are going to be durable because, as we know, infants and toddlers put everything in their mouth. So we like to see the board books, the books that are like the bath books that are water resistant and very durable. So hopefully you're going to enjoy starting to get into the age groups. What's really neat about the way this book is set up is that you're going to take each age group one at a time, and so you're going to see how you actually are going to build on everything as you go. So obviously with infants and toddlers, we're not looking to see if they know their alphabet, if they can recognize their name. But when you look at the milestones for infants and toddlers when it comes to reading and writing, it's more about getting them interested in things. So that means we need to be reading to them a lot. We need to be providing them with the materials that they could actually experiment with writing. Obviously not writing their name, but scribbling. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see them, but Crayola has come out with a kind of a line of artistic tools to help children as they're developing. And so instead of going straight to the skinny crayons that we use now, they actually have different forms of crayons. And the first one that they actually have is more like a ball that has a crayon point at the bottom of it because infants and toddlers don't have the ability to use the pincer grasp the way the older children do. So by having those types of materials in your classroom and providing children the opportunity to experiment with them, you're providing the foundation for their literacy in the coming years. So it's more about providing the experiences and making them a positive experience. Having the cuddle time when you're reading to children, having the sharing time where you're pointing to things in the book as you're reading to them. But we really want it to be a positive experience. Looking back at your discussion board posts, the whole reason I set those up the way that I did was to get us to this point. You've talked about your favorite books. You've talked about your beginning memories of reading and writing. And so what I'm starting to notice is that those experiences have really played a role in how you feel about reading and writing now. So many of you had such fantastic experiences with beginning reading and writing, with the books that were read to you when you were a child. And so that's what we want to provide for the children that are in our care. So this week you're going to have two chapters to review, chapters 4 and 5. I have the PowerPoints on Blackboard for you. And there are also a lot of extra resources that I've put on Blackboard for you. There's some videos, There's an infant toddler resource packet that we've put together for you. And the reason that there's more resources this week is because so many students in the early childhood program really are looking more at preschool as opposed to the infant and toddler. And so a lot of times you don't get the information that you need if you do end up being in an infant toddler classroom. So videos, articles, resource packet, all of that is on Blackboard for you. But you are not required to do anything more than log into Blackboard for your participation this week. You've already had discussion board postings, and you've started to work on your observation, or you've at least started thinking about it. I didn't want to put anything extra on you this week, but I do encourage you, read the chapters, go over the PowerPoints, and look at all of those extra resources simply because you never know if you're going to end up in an infant toddler classroom. For those of you who are parents of infants and toddlers, this can be some really great resources for you as well. So as long as I see that you are on Blackboard, you actually log into our course this week, that's going to be sufficient for your attendance and participation. So I think that's it for this week. Enjoy reading about infants and toddlers.